Hi.
Could you just introduce yourselves first and tell about your positions here at Moorhead?
I'm April Miller. I'm a professor in special education, and I've been working at Moorhead State. Will be my 10th year.
And I'm Karen Roberts, and I am a retired special education teacher.
Okay. Where did you teach?
Here I only taught 1 year, and I've taught in Denton, Texas, Moorhead, Minnesota, Hattiesburg,
County.
yeah, Round County, and University of Southern Mississippi.
How long have you all lived in Round County?
This will be
our 11th year.
We just finished 9 years.
Yeah, we just finished 9 years.
How long have you all been together?
Go ahead.
11 years.
Well,
We've lived together 11 years.
And you have a daughter together, is that right?
Yes. I'm her biological mom, but we are Mommy April. Mommy April. There's not an and in there. So, her name is Jessica.
Can you talk about raising her, how that's been?
Yeah, actually, I've known Jess since she was 3 years old, so I've always been her friend April. Karen and I did not become partners until 11 years ago. She was 10 when we all moved in together, and it's been a great and wonderful adventure. Jessica has disabilities, so being a parent of a child with disabilities is sometimes very difficult. But together, we've really done, I think, a fabulous job of working with her and getting her to the point of more independence. She works on campus, and
Don't ask us where.
she works on campus, and she really loves her job. There have been tough times, and there have been great times. So, do you have anything to say about it?
Raising a child with differing abilities is just like raising any other rebellious child.
Definitely.
She's in the rebellious teenager stage right now. And we get to know a lot. And then we tell her 5 minutes on the couch, and then she'll say, thinking brain, yes, I can do it. But no, she really has been a good kid to raise. We have had our issues. Her speech has been difficult for other people to understand most of the time. It's getting a lot better and has gotten a lot better. So you have to kind of know her, and then you'll be able to understand what she's saying much better. But she's a great kid. What am I going to say?
With Jessica, when she turned 18, we had to apply to have guardianship of Jessica. And actually, Karen and I have been awarded co-guardianship. So it's that we both have full guardianship of Jessica. And her dad is a backup guardian. But that allows me to sign medical papers or take care of her finances, just like Karen would be able to.
Yeah, run her to the ER if she gets bitten by ants or that kind of stuff. Take her to the doctor with another ear infection. But she's a good kid.
When did you know that you wanted to get married, like, in your relationship?
2008.
Around 2008, we actually thought about going to one of the states that had just legalized same-sex marriage. And at that time, we understood that this was not something that was going to be recognized across
most of the U.S.
across the majority of the United States. Also, we knew that when we returned to Kentucky, it would not be something that was recognized. So we decided to wait until Kentucky accepted same-sex marriage as a policy as well.
What has it been like being a gay couple in Eastern Kentucky?
Most of our life here has been pretty quiet. We are just a couple. You know, we have a family and we live together, and we're like an old married couple, actually.
We do our things here. I mean, I've been in reading groups and book groups and volunteered at the library, and Jess goes to the library. She's at the movies. You'll see her with same age friends at the movies, usually at any of the restaurants in town.
Yeah,
we've never kept her at home because she had disabilities. Wherever we went, she went.
With that, though, we don't have a large circle of friends, or, you know, we pretty much keep to ourselves. We have an adult daughter that has to be with us all the time.
Or be with companions. And she understands enough to know that the companions are there because she can't be there by herself. And she also knows enough to know that Mom and April need some time together away from me. But I don't like that, and I don't want that.
Yeah, she wants to go with us everywhere.
It can
It's
be
hard.
difficult. It can be really hard at times.
But as a couple, you know, we eat at home on Tuesday nights, and on Monday nights, Karen goes to art class, and I go to dinner with Jessica. On Saturday afternoons, we, you know, do things like pay bills and maybe sometimes go to Lexington and go shopping. We do
It's
a
not
lot
football season yet, but we like to watch college football.
The other thing, we like to go to the movies as a family. We do that Saturdays. We do a lot of Special Olympics events for Jess. So, how is it being a couple here? You know, we don't have a circle of a gay community. We're just integrated in the community, and we've always been open about our relationship, but we never shouted it out before. It's a little bit different.
Okay. So, June 26th, the Supreme Court ruled that gay marriage was legal all throughout the United States. What were your feelings when you first heard that?
Oh, we were jumping up and down, and we were so
Ecstatic.
happy and ecstatic about it.
We were really
and
proud
then we
of our
realized
country.
where we were.
We were
And-
really proud of our country on that day.
We were.
We really did embrace it, and we were really proud to be Americans. We were really happy.
When did you go down to the county clerk's office?
We went to the courthouse on June 30th. That was a Tuesday, I think. After just a few days after the Supreme Court decision.
Did you know going in that you might be denied?
Yes.
We had heard a rumor.
Well, actually, it was on the news.
Yeah,
Kim
that's
Davis
true.
had made a statement on the news that said that she was not issuing any licenses in Rowan County because she did not want to discriminate. So Tuesday morning when we went down there, we understood that that may be the case, but no one had walked in and asked that day. So about 8:30, we went in and requested a marriage license, and were denied immediately. So we knew then for sure it was happening.
So this is something that you've been waiting forever to finally be able to be married.
Quite a while.
Yeah, so what was going through your mind the moment you realized that you still couldn't do it?
Actually, I was the one that became infuriated about it. I had finally gained the right to marry the person I love, and for us to legitimize our relationship and
Legitimize in the community.
in the nation, for healthcare purposes, for purposes of taxes, for purposes of that marriage bond that is special. And now somebody is telling me that, I'm sorry, I don't believe in that, so you can't get married. I know it's the law, but I'm sorry. Go somewhere else. And that was, I just couldn't believe that was happening. I was infuriated. I was angry. I was.
I have never seen April get this angry about something. Never. I've known her since 1997, and I have never seen her get
Fired up.
this fired up about anything. And we went around and we talked to Cecil Watkins, and we couldn't talk to Doc Blevins because he wasn't in his office, but we talked to Mr. Watkins, and he said there wasn't anything he could do. She's an elected official. He can't fire her, he can't reprimand her, he can't do anything because she's an elected official.
He told us that he had reported it to the Attorney General. He was informed of the situation. He had informed the Attorney General. And he said that he was speaking with the Attorney General
Again.
at the time, and the Attorney General's office. And he said, here's the number if you want to call them. So I called them. And I spoke with their office. I left a message. They called me back and said, really, we've looked at the regulations and there's not anything we can do right now. We're working on it to see what else we might be able to do, but it may take litigation to make a change. So I said, who do I call now? And he said, the governor's office. So I called the governor's office, left a message for them. They called me back. And again, the same routine. When the governor's office told me, I can't, no one can really make her do this job. The governor had already issued statements. Please, we have a new ruling. We're going to work on changing the laws. We're going to work on changing the forms. Start recognizing and give licenses immediately to same-sex couples. He said that on Friday when the decision happened. He repeated it on Monday. He told us on Tuesday he'd already said issue licenses. At that point, I was kind of out of people to call in our government, and so I called the ACLU.
And after that, it was a roller coaster ride.
Yeah, it sure was.
They met us on you talked to them on Tuesday.
Tuesday was the
They met us
day
on Wednesday, and suit was filed on Thursday.
So it
And they
happened
met all
here.
the couples that are in the suit on Wednesday, not just us. They met everybody, and we talked for a good while.
It was, it happened very quickly. I actually went in to seek a marriage license. First, I want to get married. Second, I wanted to make sure before we were out front protesting for the day, I wanted to make sure that Kim Davis was not issuing license. I don't want to protest somebody who's issuing licenses inside. So, then third, I thought somebody somewhere would say something to Kim that made her decide to issue licenses, and that wasn't the case. So I really thought she would either do what the governor had suggested, either resign or do the signatures on the marriage licenses. And when that didn't happen, I was really shocked. I was really surprised, but I was surprised and shocked in a way I was appalled by it because of the discrimination that I felt, the embarrassment that I felt, and I was told, just go to a different county. That's like, we don't want you here, so go away. And maybe
Go to another county, get the license, and then come back here and get married if you want to be married here.
It was almost like, if you go to a different county, we don't have to recognize you here, and maybe your gayness will go away, or maybe all the gays will go away, maybe all the LGBT persons who are LGBT will disappear.
Wasn't going to happen.
That's how I felt.
And that made her even angrier.
Made me angry.
So now we're in it until it ends, one way or the other. She either starts giving out marriage licenses or we stay in it as long as she's in office or until she decides to give out marriage licenses.
So your ring, is that an engagement ring? Do you all have that together?
We
This-
do. They're different color stones, but they're very similar rings. We purchased them in, I would say, 2007.
Yeah.
We got these rings, though. We got these rings in 2005. Or
right after we moved in. We all moved in
2004.
together.
2004, around, they moved in June, and at Christmas time, I think we got these. And they're called the Love Knot, and we just fell in love with them, and that was our first ring. But this was more of around the time that we moved here, and
We decided
we knew that this was something that we were going to do forever, and
so
it was kind of an engagement ring. Yeah, it was both of them are commitment kind of rings that we knew that this for us was our marriage ring until we could get married. So this was our engagement.
And her favorite color is blue. My favorite color is purple. So the purple ring fit her, the blue ring fit me, and
That was
there you have it.
So you went back to the county clerk's office on August 13th, whenever Davis was told to continue issuing license once again.
right. Okay, so what happened is in the lawsuit, we asked for a preliminary injunction, and that is we wanted an early ruling that would give us relief from her denying marriage licenses. We wanted to get a marriage license while we're waiting, or while the suit's going on, or
We want it now,
we want to get married.
basically. We want her to start doing it
We
now.
wanted it when we
your
went
job.
to the office. So that we had some hearings that we went through to discuss, what was going on. And the decision by Judge Bunning on the 12th said that he ordered Kim Davis to begin issuing marriage licenses. That made us very excited. That evening, about 20 minutes after the ruling came out, her lawyers filed an appeal of that and requested a stay, and that is where they hold everything the same until they can appeal it to the next court. So we knew that appeal had happened. But on August 13, 14, 15, there was a small window where we had a judgment that said she must issue marriage licenses again. We went during that time period when we should have been able to get a license. So we went down to the courthouse that day, again, fully expecting to be denied because of her statements. And we went to the courthouse about 11:45, and there was actually media all around. It was kind of crazy.
It was.
And we went in, and the clerk that was at the desk told us they were not issuing any marriage licenses. And we asked the questions again, like, is there anybody else who can issue our license? Is there anyone here that can issue this license? Is there anyone else that can issue this license? And we were told no. If we wanted more information, we could contact Liberty Counsel, who is
Their attorney.
the defense attorney.
And their lawyers, Liberty Counsel told them, even though there had been a ruling by Judge Bunning for her to do that, for her to give out marriage licenses, don't do it.
Well,
That they were doing the stay.
well, we don't know if that was her attorney's or if that was her decision, but
Either way, it's
either way, they were not issuing marriage licenses that week. On the 17th, then Judge Bunning put into place a temporary stay until through August 31st for a time period where Kim does not have to issue marriage licenses. I think that was to protect her from further litigation, or not further litigation, but more contempt of court or fines. But I think it also gave her an opportunity to kind of escape some of that pressure, like happened when we went to ask for a marriage license. Mm-hmm. There was media all around us. I think that may have been a part of it. But his ruling actually said for the temporary stay that if Kim issued a marriage license, if her office issued a marriage license, that might harm her conscience, her moral conscience. So rather than make her defy that again, I think he was giving her an opportunity to appeal to the next level without having that harm to herself.
What was it like being denied yet again?
At this time, it was just frustrating more than anything. We were frustrated that, and we figured, well, there hasn't been a judge yet that she is going to listen to. She didn't listen to the Supreme Court judges. She did not listen to the judges. The governor. The judges.
Judge Bunning last week.
Well, yeah, Judge Bunning a couple weeks ago, and then last week he kind of gave her a little time and told her attorneys that their appeal has to be filed by August 31st with the Sixth Circuit Court. And then we'll see what happens.
That the Sixth Circuit Court has, it kind of gave them a 2-week window to get a decision from the Sixth Circuit Court. So how did it feel when we went in again? I knew what to expect for sure this time. Mm-hmm. I knew that she wasn't going to issue licenses. I'd already heard other people had requested them that morning. And I expected to be denied. Thursday was an extremely busy day for me with being on campus and trying to get my courses ready and having meetings. And we were running back and forth between, we talked to our counsel. We had been on Al Jazeera America live via Skype that morning at 10:30. I had a meeting at 11. We went to the courthouse at 11:45. At 1 o'clock, I had a faculty meeting for 2 hours. When we came out of that meeting, we had phone calls from New York Times, Reuters, I don't know who else, Russia Today,
various other
media outlets.
Media.
And it was just overwhelming. Mm-hmm. It didn't really hit me until Friday. Friday morning, driving into work, before I even got a mile from my house, I was in tears because of a song on the radio. That song came on, and it was actually a Chicago song, Will You Still Love Me for the Rest of My Life? And I started, just tears were flowing. And so I called and I sent flowers to Karen. And
asked me, will you still marry me? Love me for the rest of my life?
And that was the question on the card. But, I went that morning and apologized to someone because something was written in the media that made it appear that this person wasn't being supportive. And they were, and we knew what was said between us, but it came across wrong in the print. And I just cried when I talked to her, and it was really an emotional morning. So Wednesday, when the decision was made, again happy, but with caution, Mm-hmm. Thursday going, I was disappointed that I was upset and frustrated again that we were denied a second time, but I knew it was coming, but it didn't really hit me till Friday.
Once this is all said and done, you can finally get a marriage license, do you have any plans for your wedding?
Yeah.
We do.
We actually have been talking about venues. We have rings that we
Yes,
purchased.
we have our rings.
We purchased.
We're
way
going to
back in
have a
July.
very, very small wedding and then a very, very large party.
We
It's
know
going to be a
that.
big party.
I said earlier that our circle of friends, we don't really have a big circle of friends in Moorhead. We have, we really keep to ourselves. But because of the outpouring of support for us, we feel that there are a lot of people who want to celebrate this victory when it happens. And, well, it's actually, I think the decision on August 12th was a huge win for us. It was a great decision, and I think that
Wedding plans.
that win, but there were a lot of people who have supported us and feel the same way about marriage is marriage, and that we want to be able to celebrate with them as well. We want them to celebrate with us. So we're going to have this open party and just enjoy the time and the win that it's going to be like SCOTUS all over again, the Supreme Court decision all over again, just for us. And it's not just for us. That's why we want to have a party where our supporters can come, because it's their support, it's their win as well as for us. It's not just about us anymore. It's a lot bigger than just being about ourselves and our relationship. It's about the larger community of people who support equal rights.
You said it.
Just one more question.
Oh, that's not a problem.
If
Yeah,
you
Miss Jody's got to be here.
Oh.
if you could actually sit down with Kim Davis and have a conversation with her, what would you say or ask her of her?
The first thing that we would both say is we respect your beliefs. We're not arguing about those beliefs. We want you to have those beliefs, and we know how hard it is to stand up for your beliefs. We're standing up for our beliefs, and we know how difficult that is. But I think what we would say is it's really about what the law is now, not about what you believe. There are a lot of different beliefs in our world, and not everybody agrees with this one, but our Constitution now says that we have the right to be married. And I'm sorry that she doesn't believe that based on her religion, but she can't. I would ask her to step that aside, and I know that she can't do that. So I wouldn't probably ask that part. I would.
You're going to be that calm.
What would you say?
The same thing. The very first sentence, I would tell her, I do respect her Christian beliefs, but she knew, she was the assistant clerk. So she knew when she started in to get elected, that this decision could come very soon. And she didn't, that Christian faith wasn't strong enough then, or she didn't have the forethought then to say, okay, if this happens, what am I going to do? So she got elected and then decided to try and get some stuff done so that clerks don't have to issue marriage licenses anymore, so that clerks aren't put in this position anymore. And I agree with that also.
But that happened immediately as soon as she was elected.
Yeah.
As soon as she took office.
As soon as she took office. she wrote letters to everybody in government that she could, asking them to, when they had their session last January, please do something, put a bill in effect that says county clerks do not have to do this anymore. Because her point is, it's her Christian beliefs, but also her name is on that paper. When she signs that paper, she said that means she's approving that marriage. And she's not approving gay marriage. So I would ask her why, my big question is, why did you stay in the race when you knew that this was going to happen? Sometimes within the next, 4 years?
Oh.
2 years, 4 years? I don't know
Well,
what the...
it was a year and a half or so that she was a candidate.
Yeah.
Prior to
Why, while she was a candidate, why did she stay in the race? And why did she, when she was elected and this came down, why didn't she just say, my Christian beliefs keep me from doing this. You'll have to get someone else to sign. She didn't. She didn't. This whole thing, she had things that she could do beforehand and what she could do, even now, what she could do. Be honorable and resign. And somebody else asked her that, and she said that if she resigned, she would be leaving her other clerks, deputy clerks, who also believe this.
Not all of them.
No, not all of them do. She said 4 do, 1's on the fence, and 1 definitely would give out the licenses.
I think the other thing we would say to Kim Davis is, this was not personal. This was not done with malicious intent. I'm sorry this blew up into what it's become. That was really not expected. I really, even though I knew when I started making calls that it was going to be heard, I didn't ever think this would be something that we had media asking us questions all the time, that we would be on the news and multiple times in multiple venues. That part of it just is crazy and really blew up bigger than we ever imagined. But I'd also say I'm sorry that happened to her as well, that she had to be in that spotlight as well, because like I said earlier, she is standing up for what she believes in, just like we are too, and I appreciate and respect that position, and that her willingness to stand for what she believes in. But I know that she didn't imagine this kind of attention on this situation, but neither did we. It was not a malicious intent for sure.
Yeah, there wasn't any maliciousness for this. All we want to do is get a marriage license in Rowan County because we have lived here for 9 years. We pay our taxes in Rowan County. We
Have a home here?
We have a home here. We had a daughter in the school system here. She's graduated.
We volunteer here.
Yeah,
we work
this is
here.
where we do everything, basically. And we want to be able to get our marriage license in the county that we want to get married in, which is Rowan County.
One of the things that this brings up is that if one clerk can defy the order, and 60 of the 130 clerks have indicated that they also feel their religious beliefs hold them back from issuing a marriage license to a same-sex couple. What if all 60 of those decide not to issue licenses? What if the other 70 clerks decide not to issue marriage licenses? What if all of Arkansas or Texas or Mississippi decide not to issue marriage license to same-sex couples? Then we're back in the situation we were before this decision. It is our right. It's about our constitutional right. I'm sorry that her religion prevents her from either stepping aside or issuing the license.
Now,
but
her
it's
religion,
not.
her religion does not keep her from stepping aside. It just keeps her from issuing the marriage licenses.
Okay. I'm sorry that it keeps her from issuing a marriage license, but this isn't about her religion. It's what the law is. It's our constitutional right. Now, I think that the constitutional right that she's speaking of, freedom of religion, she is able to practice her religion, but she's also in a government job. That government job demands that she has a separation of her church and state.
We do have that.
Yeah, we do have that, church and state. The other thing is that we also have the freedom from religion, that no one can impose their religion upon us as citizens of the United States too. So that goes both ways on religion.
Thank you all for
Thank
coming
you.
out, for offering your time.
You asked hard questions. Thank you.